Hey guys, we're here today to talk about your business and what you can do in your business to generate either growth or to generate a sustainable business model in these unprecedented economic times. We are a digital agency. We work with a lot of different clients in almost every industry, every vertical, in a couple of different markets around the world. And one of the great things about that is it gives us access to data. What's working, what's not working, what are the tactics, what are the strategies that you can use to really support yourself and your family and importantly your business and your employees in a tough circumstance. We have looked at all of our clients, all of our strategies, all of our tactics, but we've also looked at what history tells us. So what happened in the 2008 GFC, what happened in the dot-com crash, as well as smaller sort of dips, troughs, peaks in economies. And we've tried to come up with a few useful pieces of information that you can execute in your business regardless of how you market. So you might use an agency, you might be working with us already, you might do it yourself, you might have an in-house team, you might be a freelancer just looking to build a business. Whatever your situation is, we wanted to give you useful information that you can actually use. This is not a sales pitch. It does go for a little while. We've got to cover off month on month from now, middle of the year, right through until Christmas, but it will give you a lot of value. Most businesses start their online journey thinking that they can build a website and they will automatically get users on the internet to that website and they'll automatically convert those users on the website into customers. And that is the ideal. If you imagine a straight line, the ideal is you've got a website in the middle, you've got your cold user at one end and you've got a red hot customer at the other, and they just walk along that line. That in the digital world is a slam dunk. How often does it happen? Almost never. It's getting harder and harder to attract a user to a brand or a website online, and it's getting harder and harder to convert that user into a customer. The reality of what actually happens is what we call in our business growth marketing. So users have many different devices. They've got Apple Watches, they've got smartphones, tablets, computers, work computers, they've got their kids' gear, they've got their friends' gear they use, and they have many, many thousands of different browsing habits. So you've got websites, you've got news sites, you've got blogs, you've got social channels, many, many different social channels, different ways to interact with those social channels. You've also got organic strategies, you've got paid strategies. There's so much going on. Growth marketing is designed, or the concept of growth marketing is designed to follow users through their different unique journeys online, target them, bring them into your brand, convert them to a customer, and then extract maximum lifetime value out of each of those customers. Growth marketing, typically, if you just Google growth marketing, or if you work with an agency who has a growth type approach, it will take in SEO, content marketing, paid advertising, social, marketing automation, reputation management, customer feedback platforms. There's all of these different components to growth marketing, and inside each of those components, there can be anywhere from 10 to 200 different actionable tasks or processes that you would typically go through every 30, 60, 90, 120 days. But when you compile all of that activity together, it focuses on the one true north, or the one true goal, and that true goal is growth for your business. So it's leads, it's sales, it's an email database that you can convert on. Whatever your business metric is, that's what growth marketing focuses on. When you're thinking about these months ahead and the journey that you need your business to take to re-secure it if it's a little bit unstable at the moment, or grow it even if you're in an industry that is experiencing growth right now, and there are a number of those industries, you first need to segment up or cut up your customer database. Everyone thinks we've got one customer, we've got two customers. The reality is there are many different types of customers, and what you need to do is you need to tailor a growth marketing strategy to each of those core types of customers. A couple of examples. If you're a car dealership, a lot of sales guys in dealerships will think, oh, well, our target market is anyone who is in the middle income brackets who are looking for a certain kind of mid-range car. That's true. That's one target market. You've got your B2C, your consumer car sales business. You've also got your service business. You've got fleet business. You've got B2B business. You've got a parts business. So you've got different components to your business and different kinds of customers that interact with you in each component of that business. If you look at a hotel, you've got food and beverage, restaurant outlets. You've got your rooms, obviously booking rooms, your rooms business, your corporate sort of conferencing and events type business that'll come back at some point. Not right now, but it will come back. You've got weddings business. Inside each of those categories, your business categories, again, you've got different kinds of customers. So you've got a customer avatar for someone who is a low value customer, a high value customer, a medium value customer, a family, a single, a couple. Do some work first and foremost to identify those and try and get it down to one page. You'll see I've got a bunch of paper on the table here and I've got notes scribbled all over it. That's the best way to start mapping out a strategy. Get it clear in your mind so you can work with your team to execute it in a very clear way. Once you've got your customer database segmented, then it's time to go about planning something you can execute fast. So we want to start right now, late May, early June, and we want monthly plans that you're going to roll through the rest of the year. We don't want to be spending months and months planning. There's no time. You need to generate growth fast. You've got your customer segments. You've got your database cut up. You know roughly the types of people you're looking to talk to, you're looking to sell to. Let's focus on June. The cost to market in June is going to be very, very low. The big businesses in the world that yield massive marketing budgets are not focused on big ad spends right now. The cost to market on Facebook, using Facebook advertising, AdWords, display, remarketing, LinkedIn, Twitter, all those platforms, the cost to advertise has gone down generally across most verticals and most industries. So there is a really good opportunity to get involved in a tactical and careful way. We want to think about what we can do right now in June for June, as well as what we can do in June to set ourselves up for more growth or compounding growth in the months ahead. What we want to do in June is we want to offer something to your audience that they can commit to now, but utilize later. The obvious choice is gift certificates. We know that some social platforms have just rolled out immediate gift certificate redemptions. We also know that some of those platforms, Facebook at the moment is rolling out an e-commerce component to their platform. So it's easier than ever to set up a gift certificate functionality and offer value in that gift certificate. Find the low cost ads online and sell that gift certificate right now. You won't fulfill the order right now. You won't have people redeeming right now. But what that's going to achieve for you is it's going to give you a revenue lifeline. It's going to get some revenue in the door right now, which is what your business needs. What are we going to do for the future? There are two main components we want to focus on. The first is your technology stack, and the second is your content. Firstly, with technology stack, if you have a think about all of the different components that go into your marketing strategy, you might have analytics platforms, social platforms, email database platforms, automation platforms, website CMS systems. You've got this huge stack of technology that doesn't necessarily always talk to each other as well as it should. There are systems, there are tools, there are processes out there you can follow to get them to talk to each other, and that will create marketing efficiency for you in the future. So use this time to integrate your systems. The other good thing is there is some tax incentives, or there are some opportunities where you can get government rebates on investment in some of that area right now. So if you do have a budget to work with, thoroughly recommend you consider systems integration. The other thing is content. Content is the strongest possible return on investment in the long term when it comes to digital marketing, but it's hard to get an ROI out of it immediately. It will continue to rank and create new users for you on your website and create value for you long term. So it's really important that you invest in it. If you've got a team member or a team, or you are on a JobKeeper payment, you're stood down, you're working part-time, you're hustling a side hustle, whatever you're doing in this current situation, but you have time available that you don't normally have when your business is operating at full capacity, go to Google AdWords, log in and go to Keyword Planner and punch in a list of keywords that you know are words that people looking for your business or your product or your service would search for. You'll then get a list of search volumes, how many people are actually looking for that keyword, and you can go historic. So you can say how many people were looking for that keyword month on month over the last 12 months. Build yourself a list that has enough traffic in it that if you start to rank for it, you'll get meaningful growth in your business. Once you've got that list of keywords, get a spreadsheet, map it out month on month. So June, July, August, September, October, right through to the middle of 2021. Fill out 4, 8, 12, 16 spaces in each month, a content topic that is directly tied to and related to each of those keywords. So you're going to produce some content for each of those keywords, and you want to focus on one target keyword only per piece of content. You don't want to be trying to do too much with each piece of content. Then start producing it. Write a blog about that topic, make it really informative, packed with information. Don't sell anything, don't mention your brand because it won't do anything for you. You want to get people that don't know about your brand reading your content, because then we're going to market to them in later months. Write a blog on each of those things. Then use some online software to spin that blog into a short video. Then take screen grabs out of that video, wash it with some sort of a design finish, add a pull quote on it that comes out of the blog, and spin that into a social post. Roll that out. Once you've produced it, start rolling it out across all your platforms as fast as you can. If the content's good enough quality and it's answering questions that users have and it's giving them value, you'll start to rank for it and you'll start to get organic growth. You'll get traffic that is the right kind of customer for you, and you don't have to pay for it. Producing content takes a massive amount of time. Normally you have to either pay an agency like us to do it, and that's not necessarily cheap because it's time intensive, or you need to do it yourself. You need the skills and you need a lot of time. This gift of time that you may potentially have right now, or a marketer in your team, or a provider or supplier or someone may have right now, it's not going to be there in 6 months. So seize it right now and produce as much content as you possibly can, even if you're producing 12 months worth of content. How much is too much? There is no such thing as too much. If it's adding value to the user, produce it, and you want to be doing 4, 8, 12, 16 pieces a month. There's no reason why you can't spin through an entire sort of content production cycle twice a day on an ongoing basis. Around this time, around the month of June, we think that the consumer is going to be not desperate, but pretty keen to get outdoors. They've been inside, when it comes to Australia specifically, they've been inside for a long time. So what we want to do is really capitalize on that with some of the work we're doing in June. Produce content that is aspirational and that gets people dreaming, sell gift certificates so people can redeem them in the months ahead. Really try to match anything you're doing in June to that dreaming phase that consumers are going through. Then we move on to July. The cost to market in July is going to be ticking up on June. So we've seen costs go way down since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then in May, they've bounced. They've bounced about between 25 and 30%. We expect that's going to continue to bounce up. So we're going to see July is going to be up on June and June was up on May. But it's still going to be a lot cheaper than what it normally is. So again, a great opportunity to market if you have any budget available using some of those digital sort of growth marketing channels and strategies that we talked about. By this point, we suspect that the consumer is going to be fully ready to go. Lockdown restrictions are going to be further eased in Australia. And it's really going to be time to get the rubber to hit the road. So the offer or the tactic we recommend you rolling out around July is really around locals offers. So something that gives users a reason to shop with you locally. So if you're a hotel, stays close to home. If you're a cafe, obviously, or a restaurant, getting people in from the local area. If you're an e-commerce company selling nationwide, you can use this as an opportunity to leverage local communities or partner with local retailers or local businesses to offer individualized local offers, and that should yield a higher return on your advertising investment than a standard sort of broad national approach. We suspect that, or at least what we've seen so far, is that search activity is much more localized and geographically specific than it was pre-COVID-19. The other thing we want to do or recommend you do in July is create a competition, give something away, create a competition, build a custom audience, particularly inside Facebook. The reason why we want to do that in July is because we're going to market to that audience at the end of the year when advertising is more expensive. So give something away, create a really compelling giveaway, run that competition in July, build an audience, build a custom audience on Facebook, build an email audience, get that audience prepped and primed to hear from you in the months to come. Then we move on to August. We suspect in August that the cost to market is going to be about 20% down on 2019. So it's still going up. We've bounced in May. We're going June, July, August. We're still going up, but again, still off the peaks of 2019. We would recommend increasing what you're doing from July when you get to August, because the search volumes are going to be increasing, and then we'll be getting close to some sort of an inversion point where the cost to advertise will become, in certain markets, cost prohibitive in future months. But at the moment, both user base and costs are trending up like this, so it's still a healthy trend. It hasn't gone like inappropriate, or hasn't curved in an inappropriate way. So increase your spend in August from July and focus on promoting the content that you produced back in June. So similar to the competition that we ran in July, focus on promoting the blogs you've already produced, sponsored content, content-based campaigns, things like that. And this is going to build you another closed group audience of people who have already engaged with content, as well as emails that we're going to use in the next few months. On to September. In September, we suspect that consumers will have gone through, working on the assumption that there's no massive sort of spike 2 of the pandemic in Australia. We suspect that consumers will have gone through the lockdown period, come out of the lockdown period, done a little bit of activity, localized activity, and they will now have chosen the road that they, as an individual family or person, are going to go down and operate in when it comes to what you've probably heard referred to as the new normal from the government. So the government they're outlining restrictions, processes, recommendations, white papers on how we act in society, and it is different to what it used to be. But it's actually up to each individual and it's on the shoulders, the responsibility of each individual to adhere to those. So what you're going to see is consumers, your customer base some are going to be adhering really closely to that. Some are going to be taking a more broad approach. Unfortunately, some are not going to heed the recommendations at all. What we want to do is we want to now build, now that we've we've produced content, we've run a competition, we've promoted content, we've got enough aggregate campaign activity to build out a full funnel. Those who run growth marketing strategies in their business have no doubt heard the term funnel marketing before. Those who haven't, if you imagine a V shape at the top, users online that have never heard from you, at the bottom, people converting and actually buying. The further down the funnel, the less you get, the more converted they get. Essentially, a funnel approach gives us the opportunity to market to different kinds of audiences with different kinds of messages. So, right at the top, in the month of September, we're going to use content that doesn't talk about your brand, doesn't sell anything at all. We've already done that in August. We've already done that in July, so competition and content promotion. We're going to continue to do that, to continue to build a bigger and bigger and bigger warm audience at the top. Take the cold audience, make them warm. Next up, we're going to introduce offers. So you want to expand your range of offers a little bit. Focus on value, packaging multiple things together, delivering maximum value to the consumer. So to use the ClickFunnels approach, a standard computer secondhand might be worth $500. A standard computer secondhand with really valuable contact information that a salesperson might want, or a prospecting database for a real estate company that a real estate company might want, might be worth $1,500. It's still the same computer, it's what's on it. So try to think about the value you're delivering when you start to scale out your different offers that you have. And then start to show those offers in advertising campaigns. Show those offers only to people that have already engaged with your competition or your content promotion. What this is doing is it's lowering the amount of people that see your offer, but the people that do see it are much more likely to buy. So your conversion rate is much higher. And most importantly, your cost to advertise or your cost to market is much, much lower. This is really key. If you just go after sales directly and at the top of the funnel, you'll still get them, but it will be very expensive. Online advertising, online marketing, it's not cheap anymore. That's why we use this funnel approach. Coming to October, we feel like by October, we're going to be down about 10% on the cost to advertise versus late 2019, very early 2020. So we're starting to get expensive in the cost to advertise. So it's really important that we map everything we can in the month of October to buying habits. So what you were doing in 2019 or 2020, pre-COVID, take learnings out of that, pull learnings out of that, and use that. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But think about the results you've had in September, August, July, June, and take those learnings and really try to build out your funnel and tweak and optimize your funnel as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be starting to get pretty expensive. We feel by this point, consumers will be pretty settled. They'll be settled into the day-to-day rhythm of the new normal, how they're living in a COVID-safe Australia. So really just try to match what you're doing in the month of October to the learnings you've had pre-COVID as well as within COVID. By this point, you should have all but not exhausted, but you should have really started to get some great results out of Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising. So it's really important to broaden your horizons a little bit, start to look at how you can operate with display advertising and things like that. And that pushes us through to the silly season, late spring, early summer, November, December, essentially the pre-Christmas rush. Everyone's going to be in holiday mode. Everyone's going to be really starting to think about, what they want to buy for Christmas for family members and things like that. There's only a couple of things we want to do around this time. Activity digitally gets to a fever pitch over the summer months. You've already built this strategy. You've put this work in June, July, August, September, October. You've done so much work by this point to get a system that works, build a funnel. All we want to do is squeeze more revenue out of that funnel. We don't want to reinvent the wheel for summer because everyone else is trying to do that and it's inefficient. How we squeeze more revenue out of that funnel is using remarketing. There are two ways you can go about remarketing. The first is display advertising, which you can do through Google Display Network. You can do it through Facebook. Essentially, you show ads to users who have been through your funnel. You've sent them to your website, but they haven't converted. They haven't done what you want them to do. You follow them around the internet with ads, or you show ads to them on Facebook with a special offer or a discount to try and get them back. Everyone should do that if they have the budget. It is worth doing. A more advanced tactic, which seems to yield does yield a higher return when done correctly, is content remarketing. So as opposed to remarketing a user with an offer or a display ad, which, let's face it, we all see 1,000 or 1 million display ads a day, instead give them some more value. Just keep giving. You're not giving your product away. You're not giving your secret sauce away. You're just giving them more value. So if you are I'll use the hotel example again, like I referred to earlier. If you're a hotel, it comes to Christmas, you have built this funnel, you've got these users, you've got a group of users from your strategy that haven't converted. Give them, and your hotel is in Brisbane, give them a guide on the best things to do during the month of December in Brisbane. Obviously a COVID-safe created guide, but just give it to them. So run a small campaign, marketing only to users who have been through your funnel but not converted, so you can measure that. Show them that content, get them engaging in that content, and that'll push them back to the top of the funnel, and then they can start moving down the funnel again with the different offer ads that you show them. Content remarketing yields, it's more work, you have to produce more content, but it yields a much higher ROI because it plays to the emotional side of the user or the consumer. It tells them, you're in control. We know that you didn't want to convert because you didn't convert. That's okay. Here's more information for you to learn about whatever it is that is loosely related to what you're trying to sell. You really put them in the driver's seat and really empower them, which is why it works so well. When we get to December, just keep in mind that 2021 as well is not far away. So take the opportunity when everyone else is operating at fever pitch and when ads costs are through the roof, do what works, find something that's yielding you a result through your funnel and just stick with that. And then focus on what are your next steps for 2021. Take the pre-Christmas rush and focus it on 2021 planning. And really, through the process of selling gift certificates to get cash in the door straight away, revenue in the door, producing content that you don't normally have time to produce so you can yield an organic ranking result from it later. Moving through to starting to engage with your local community, being shown to support the local community while yielding results at the same time, booking revenue from locals offers and things like that. Starting to build audiences for competitions and content promotions that are the first steps to the top of your funnel. Then starting to build out a full funnel with different offers and different promotions that sit under that content. If you do that through the next season, through the rest of 2020, it's going to A, yield you immediate revenue, B, set you up for maximum midterm success, and C, build you a really strong digital marketing foundation for long-term success.